Between 2022 and 2026, the American Badger Project in the Columbia Valley grew into one of the most comprehensive landscape-scale conservation efforts for this species in the region. Focused on where badgers are still persisting, how they use the land, and what they need to survive, this work brought together multiple partners to move from foundational inventories to on-the-ground protection and applied landscape planning. Early in the project, community observations and spatial modeling were combined to identify where badgers were most likely active on provincial Crown land, the type of land where formal habitat protection tools can be applied. Field surveys then documented badger burrows in grassland and open forest habitats across the valley bottom, including several core areas such as Dry Gulch, Steamboat, and Finley Creek. These inventories documented thousands of burrows, most of which were in functioning condition and still providing important ecological value. 2 formal habitat protection tools under the Forest and Range Practices Act were essential to this work. Individual burrow complexes were approved as wildlife habitat features, meaning they receive special management under provincial regulatory mechanisms, and thousands of burrows inventoried are now recognized and protected in this way. Larger wildlife habitat areas were also mapped to protect the surrounding grasslands and soil conditions that support prey and long-term denning, with multiple applications submitted representing nearly 250 hectares of habitat across the valley, including a large expanded area at Finley Creek. Together, these tools help ensure that both burrows and the habitat around them are considered in future land use decisions. As work progressed, the focus broadened from site-level habitat protection to understanding how badgers move across the valley as part of a connected landscape, and where higher elevation areas may also benefit from future conservation attention. Valley bottom grasslands are essential for foraging and denning, but they are highly threatened, with pressures including fragmentation from transportation corridors, unauthorized recreation, and agricultural activities. Road mortality remains one of the greatest threats to badgers. To begin addressing road mortality threats, highway culverts along Highway 93-95 were prioritized and assessed to determine whether they were functioning and facilitating safe badger movement across the valley. Of the 106 culvert end assessments completed, fewer than half of the culverts were fully open, highlighting how blocked or partially obstructed structures can limit wildlife movement. Camera monitoring at selected sites confirmed repeated use at 3 of 5 culverts by American badgers, demonstrating that existing infrastructure, when passable, can play an important role in maintaining connectivity across major road corridors. These same crossings were also used by a range of other wildlife species, underscoring their broader ecological value. Together, these findings point to clear opportunities for future work. Targeted maintenance, enhancement, and continued monitoring of priority culverts could substantially improve highway permeability for American badgers and other wildlife, while also supporting movement between valley bottom habitats and higher elevation landscapes as part of a more connected system. By integrating burrow inventories, mapped habitat protection tools, and highway crossing assessments, the project has begun to identify key movement corridors and connectivity bottlenecks across the broader landscape, helping guide where future conservation and mitigation efforts will be most effective. This work has also strengthened collaboration with partners and is helping lay the groundwork for shared stewardship, long-term monitoring, and future habitat protection across the valley. Conservation outcomes were made possible through the support of the Kootenay Conservation Program and funding from Kootenay Connect Priority Places. This work concludes the American Badger Project under the Kootenay Connect Priority Places umbrella, leaving a strong foundation of data, protected habitat, and landscape-level understanding to support the long-term recovery of this endangered species in the Columbia Valley. Beginning in 2026, GoldenEye Ecological Services, together with partner organizations, will build on this foundation through the East Kootenay American Badger Initiative, continuing efforts to enhance habitat quality, reduce threats, and strengthen landscape connectivity.